Bismillah, Alhamdulillah, As-salatu was-salamu ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Today, inshallah, we will begin the next category of Mudood, which is madul far'i or secondary lengthening. And the reason for the Mudood that falls under this category is either a sukoon after the original mad letter or the letter Hamza. That Hamza is Hamzatul Qat'a, which is like this. And there are 7 mudud that come under this category. And out of these 7, the reason for 4 of them is letter Hamza. And depending on the position of letter Hamza and the mad letter, we have these 4 different types. Number 1 is madul badal, then madul muttasil, then madul munfasil, and madul sila kubra. And remaining 3 mudud of madul far'i are caused by a sakin letter after the mad letter. And these 3 mudud are maddul aridul sukun, maddul lin, and maddul lazim. And inshallah, in our course, we try to learn all of them. And let's see the first one, which is maddul badal, the exchange lengthening. As we know, maddul badal falls under maddul far'i. So this mad is caused by letter Hamza, and maddul badal occurs when there is Hamza followed by a mad letter in the same word. We can see some examples here where we can see letter Hamza in all these examples with the fatha, kasra, or dhamma is followed by the mad letters. In this example, Hamza with dhamma is followed by letter waw. In this example, Hamza with kasra is followed by letter ya mad. And in this example, Hamza with fatha is followed by alif mad. It sounds same as maddu tabi'i, where you can find the mad letter preceded by a compatible vowel, but the only difference here is in maddu tabi'i or maddul asli, there can be any letter before the mad letter from the Arabic alphabets, but in maddul badal, there is only one specific letter before the mad letter, and that letter is Hamza. So before the mad letter, if you see letter Hamza in the same word, this mad is called maddul badal, and we will stretch it by 2 counts. Let's see some examples here and try to practice them. Hamza is followed by letter waw in the same word, where Hamza is before letter waw. This mad is maddul badal, and we will recite it like this. Wa'udhu. In the next example, we can see Hamza before the mad letter ya in the same word. By giving it 2 counts, we will recite this example like this. Imanakum. In the next example, we can see letter Hamza before mad letter alif within one word. So this mad is maddul badal. And by giving it 2 counts, we will recite it like this. Adama. And here are some examples of maddu tabi'i, where the mad letter is in the same condition that it is sakin preceded by a vowel compatible to it. For example, ya is compatible with kasra, so you can see the condition of ya mad here, and waw is compatible with dhamma, alif is compatible with fatha. So you can see letter ya, waw, and alif in a mad condition, but the only difference between maddu tabi'i and maddul badal is that in maddu tabi'i you can find any letter before the mad letter. Like in this case, you can find letter lam here before the mad letter ya. And in this example, you can see letter jim here before mad letter waw. And in this example, you can see letter qaf before the mad letter alif. Although we will stretch maddu tabi'i and maddul badal, both of them 2 counts. But when mad letters are preceded by letter Hamza within one word, in that case, that mad will be maddul badal and not maddu tabi'i. And we can see some more examples here. Alif mad is preceded by Hamza within one word. So this is an example of maddul badal, and we will recite it like this. Ma'abin. In the next example, we can see waw in a mad condition preceded by Hamza within one word. So we will say ja'u. In the next example, we can see alif mad is preceded by Hamza within one word. By giving it 2 counts, we will recite it like this. Amanu. This mad is called badal because originally the word has 2 Hamzas. The first Hamza with a vowel and the second Hamza with a sukoon or jazm. But it was difficult for the Arab to speak the word like this with two hamzas. So even in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they would pronounce it by changing the second hamza into the most suitable mad letter. And the most suitable mad letter will be decided from the vowel of the first hamza. And we can see some examples here. The word that we recite now as Adama is originally like this. There are two hamzas. The first hamza has a fatha and the next hamza is sakin. So the original word is Adama, not Adama, but Adama. But due to the effort required to pronounce two hamzas together, the Arab would pronounce by changing the second hamza into the most suitable mad letter. And the mad letter will be decided by the vowel of the first hamza. So for example, in this case, the first hamza has a fatha. So the second hamza will be changed into alif mad because alif is compatible with fatha. So when we change the second hamza into alif mad, the sound will become like this. Adama. And just like this, if you see in the next example, we recite it like this. Imana. But originally, the word is like this. Imana. So the second hamza, which is sakin, will be changed into a mad letter that is compatible with kasra because the first hamza has a kasra. So mad letter which is compatible with kasra is ya mad. So that's why we recite this word like this. Imana. In the next example, we recite it like this. Udu. But originally the word is udu. But we will change the second hamza into a mad letter that is compatible with dhamma. And now we know that compatible mad letter with dhamma is waw mad. So instead of saying u'dhu, we will recite it like this. Udhu. And we will recite by giving them two counts of madul badal. And in all ways of recitation, madul badal is given two counts and recited just like this by changing the sakin hamza into a mad letter that is compatible with the vowel of the first hamza. But there are four different states of madul badal. And the first one is when madul badal is at the beginning of a word or in the middle of a word. So whether we choose to continue or we stop, we will give this madul badal two counts. So in this case, I can see madul badal at the beginning of the word. And in this example, I can see madul badal in the middle of the word. So whether I continue my recitation or I stop at this word, in both cases, I will recite this mad as madul badal by giving it two counts. And I will recite these examples like this. Amana, ambiuni. The next state is observed when we are continuing our recitation, but at the time of stopping, we have an option to give a stronger mad. And this particular topic, when there is more than one mad in one word, is called aqwa as-sababain. And inshallah, in our Tajweed course, we will learn about them as well. But for now, just remember, when you are choosing to continue your recitation, you will recite these words with madul badal by giving it two counts. But when we are choosing to stop, we will stop with a stronger mad. So in case of continuation, we will recite it like this. Al-munsha'atu. But if I'm choosing to stop, I have an option of the stronger mad, which is called madul arudu sukoon, 2, 4, or 6 counts. So in that case, I have an option to recite it like this. Al-munsha'at. And in the next example, if I'm choosing to continue, I will recite it with madul badal by giving it two counts, ma'abin. But if I'm choosing to stop, I have an option to stop with a stronger mad, maddul aridu sukoon of 2, 4, and 6 counts, and I can stop like this, ma'ab. And inshallah, we will learn about maddul aridu sukoon very soon. The third state is when maddul badal is observed when stopping, but not when we are choosing to continue our recitation. If you see in this example, the first word is waja'u and the second word is abahum. If we stop at the first word waja'u, in this case, we can see that waw mad is preceded by hamza and we will recite it with madul badal by giving it two counts. But when we choose to continue and recite both of these words together, in that case, we will recite it with another mad, which is called madul munfasil. And due to the rule of aqwa as-sababain, or the stronger mad, we will recite it with madul munfasil, and inshallah we will learn about them soon. So in case of continuation, we will recite this word like this: وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ. If I'm choosing to stop at the first word, I will recite it like this: وَجَاءُوا. I will recite waw mad by giving two counts of madul badal. And the last state of madul badal is when hamzatul wasl comes before hamzatul qata. And this is only observed when we are going to begin our recitation from these words. In that case, we will change the sakin hamza into the compatible mad letter according to the vowel of hamzatul wasl. And we have learned this rule when we were discussing the rules of hamzatul qata and hamzatul wasl. And you can see the details in that lesson where hamzatul wasl comes before hamzatul qata. So we will change Hamzatul Qata into a mad letter that is compatible with the vowel of Hamzatul Wasl. And by giving it two counts, we will recite these three words like this when we are choosing to start our recitation from these words. So idana will be recited like this. Idana. U'tumina will be recited like this. Utumina. Ituni will be recited like this. Ituni. By giving two counts of madul badal. And before we end the topic of madul badal, there's one small point that we need to remember, and that is when we are choosing to stop at the words where there is hamza with fathatain at the end. In ma'an and bana'an, we can see hamza with fathatain. We will stop here with maddul iwad that we have discussed before. We will change fathatain into one fatha, and they're written here like this. And this is how we will recite them. Ma'a, bana'a. We will stop by giving two counts of maddul iwad because this alif here is not part of the original word, and this only comes when we are choosing to stop. So we should not get confused if we see words like this where the word is ending with hamza that has fathatain, because when we are choosing to stop at fathatain, we will stop with madul iwad with an exception of one letter, which is ta marbuta. I hope madul badal is clear to you. Inshallah, we will continue the topic of mudood in our next class as well. Jazakumullahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.